Hey y'all, Shane here, and I have an exciting announcement for you. We have just launched a second podcast. That's right. Not only are we going to be bringing you the Flipped Lifestyle podcast every single week, where we help one of our members of the Flip Your Life community start, build, and grow a membership site of their own. We also now have a podcast called Membership Masters. This is an exciting podcast where we interview the best people in the membership world every single week, and we help you get and keep more members in your membership site. We help you with all of your membership marketing so that you can build $1 million membership of your own. These are amazing long-form, raw conversation with some of the biggest membership entrepreneurs in the game. People like James Schramko, Stu McLaren, John Lee Dumas, Robbie Baxter, and Mike Morrison of the Membership Guys podcast. The Membership Masters podcast is like being a fly on the wall in a high-level mastermind where you're hearing real membership masters talk shop, talk strategy, talk tactics, and talk about building $1 million memberships of their own. Now, I know many people don't have access to a lot of these conversations, a lot of these people, so I'm bringing these experts to you so that you can learn how to grow your membership business and build a better future for your family. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be airing short previews of the Membership Masters podcast right here in the Flipped Lifestyle podcast feed so that you can get a taste of what's happening over at Membership Masters. We want you to listen in and preview these episodes and then go over to flippedlifestyle.com/membershipmasters and listen to the full episode of the podcast. Subscribe to the new Membership Masters podcast and leave us a review. That's flippedlifestyle.com/membershipmasters. That's going to take you right to Apple Podcast where you can subscribe and listen and review. All right, that's all I've got for this little introduction to the Membership Masters podcast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this preview episode. I know it's going to help you take your membership game to the next level. Welcome to the Membership Masters podcast, brought to you by membershipmasters.com. This is the podcast where we teach you how to get and keep more members every single month. I've helped thousands of people start, build, and grow memberships, and I interview some of the biggest membership owners anywhere online. My goal is to help you build $1 million membership of your own. Brick by brick, let's do it together. Come on. John Lee Dumas. What's going on, man?
Hey, y'all. Just excited to be here with you on the mic, sharing some fire.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, brother. How's Kate doing? Everything good? Kate doing all right?
He's doing great. She's actually right through the wall right there doing her thing as well. We have adjoining offices here, just kind of grinding it out, taking in the Puerto Rican sun when we can, getting that real vitamin D, like not that fake vitamin D you guys have.
That's right.
The real vitamin D.
Yeah, we're not quite low enough on toward the equator to get that real vitamin D. We got. That's why we stick it in our milk. We got that vitamin D reinforced milk, man.
And then you got to like superimpose and then John died of skin cancer.
And then, right, exactly. He went too far. Too far. Yeah, I'm at my office right now. Jocelyn, of course, we're still under lockdown and stuff right now, but thank God we have two places to go because we come over here and get work done. She stays with the kids. We switch back and forth, and it's good to go, man. Well, listen, let's just jump into it, man. Let's talk about some memberships. A couple membership masters here talking about recurring revenue. Everybody knows you from Entrepreneur on Fire. Everybody knows you from eofire.com, the often imitated but never duplicated OG daily podcast back in the day. And but what people may not know, dude, is you've got a legit membership called Podcasters Paradise. And I've always been a big fan of this. And I got I actually crashed one of your Podcast Paradise parties one time. We'll talk about that. But tell everybody about Podcasters Paradise real quick and what it's all about.
Yeah, so, it really goes back to 2013. I'm running along the bay in San Diego. Life is good. The sun is shining. And I'm kind of just going over my head, just kind of okay, the podcast is going well. Sponsorships are rocking. I was actually running a really great mastermind called Fire Nation Elite, which we have 75 members in. And it was just really, everything was going well. But I'm what is missing? What is something that I keep hearing from my audience over and over again? Because this is the key. I'm always talking to my audience. What are you struggling with? What are your obstacles? What are your challenges? And some of them were being like I just love sports and I'd love to start a podcast around sports, or I love, gardening or ballet or fitness or fill in any of the blanks. Or like, and I'd love to share that voice with the world, but how do I even start? I'd always kind of point people to like, oh, here's this blog post here, or, here's this once kind of sketchy YouTube video there. But then as I was running along the bay, I was just like, why am I like directing people to crappy places when I've launched, over 250 episodes at that point already?
Yeah.
Now I'm over 2,500 little update alerts. And I was just like, why not just actually start a community around podcasting? And I'm looking around and I'm just like, man, I'm in paradise right now, running along the beach in San Diego. I'm like, paradise, podcasting, paradise. And I ran home. I'm like, Kate, we've got to launch a community. If nothing else, then I found an alliteration. Podcasters Paradise.
It's got 2 P's, baby. It's got 2 P's, man. We're in. We're all in for the alliteration. That's what I'm talking about.
2 P's. And you know what I did, though? I did this, and be interested for your feedback on it, is I said, you know what? This might not work. People actually, just because they say they want something doesn't mean they actually want something, or doesn't mean they'll actually pay for something. I'm not doing this for free. So I went out, I emailed my audience and I said, hey, a lot of people have been saying they want to share their voice, their message, their mission via a podcast. Kate and I are willing to create the podcasting community of podcasting communities. We're going to call it Podcasters Paradise because it's going to have all the video tutorials you need, all the templates you need, the community within a Facebook group. We're going to have everything you need to create, to launch, to grow, to monetize your podcast. But I'm not even lifting a pinky of work until you guys put your money where your mouth is and validate this. I go, so in 45 days from today, I will launch this course if I get at least 20 people to pay me $250. And by the way, you guys will be the early birds. You'll be able to help me build this over the next 45 days. Like I'll keep you updated and ask for your advice. And when I open it in 45 days, it's going to be $500 per membership, and it's never going lower. So you're getting 50% off by committing to it now, to it early. And Shane, that one email, we did 35 sales. So I was like, that almost doubled my minimum requirement, which was 20. We ended up with 35 people locking in $250 each to something that wasn't even, I hadn't done a minute of work for, just the email itself. But then Kate and I said, okay, this is validation. 45 days. We opened the doors as promised on October 31st, 2013. And as you and I are sitting here, 7 years later, almost 7 years later, like 6.5 years later, we've brought in over 6,000 members. We've done over $5 million in revenue. And Shane, like we're bringing in people every single day in the Podcasters Paradise. And this has been, something we launched 6.5 years ago. So this membership thing, this has legs when you do it right. Yeah,
that's what we did almost the exact same process with Flip Lifestyle. Is when we started our podcast, but then we started guesting and we realized our list was growing and we started getting those questions like, wow, you guys, how do I do that? You know what I mean? And we did the same thing. We're like, hey, here's a course. We think it's going to look like this, right? Here's the outline, but it's probably going to change because you're going to tell us what to do, right? And we launched our course, and then we immediately realized that people loved being together, right? Like they loved the group calls. They loved being having some kind of access to me and Jocelyn, right? Even if it was just a Q&A once a month or something like that. And we just, same thing, pre-launched. Every membership should pre-launch. You should never do anything until someone votes with their wallet, because a survey where you can click a little button and you're sitting in your PJs.
Oh, I would do that.
Easy. I do. That sounds great.
That.
But when it's time to put the money on it,
they're just like, oh, me. I was actually like thinking like, my friend down the street.
Yeah, not me.
To in 5 years.
Oh, wait, it takes a little work and I have to invest my money. Oh, come on now. We can't do that. So you had this, and it's funny how I almost see this always work this way. We have a saying, we say people come for your courses, but they stay for the people. They stay for leadership. They stay for community, and they stay for things like that. So you launched this product. Like what made you, did you always plan on eventually it was going to be this monthly recurring thing? You just needed that first group in to get the courses and the content right. And then you were going to build a community around Podcast Paradise. Because I remember when you kind of started this thing. Like I saw your old apartment in San Diego. Like I actually got to sit there one night. Beautiful. I can picture you running down the beach, stopping and turning around and texting.
That's where
Kate.
I was running, right?
You know
there,
what I'm saying? Like right down the bay. But like you're coming back, and like, did you have it in mind that it would become a community where people would pay you monthly? Because I love what you said there about 6,000 members. Like, memberships do have legs, man. You can give yourself a raise every day if you want to. If you just sell it, listen, you sell 5 memberships tomorrow at $100 a month, you just got a $500 raise. And yes,
month.
People, a month. And if people do stay, right, a long time, but each membership has its own journey, and you may take them somewhere else when they're done. But only a few people will ever leave in any given month, and you just have to replace those and keep moving, and your membership grows. Did you always envision it as this big community, or was it going to be more course driven, and you realized, man, podcasters like to hang out together?
It was a little bit of like, hey, let's just get this out in the world. Once the concept has been proven and once people have voted with their wallets, let's get this out in the world, and then let's kind of figure things out. So I think like after we launched back in 2013, like officially, it was like $500 gave you a lifetime membership. So there was no monthly recurring. Because, we did, I think, initially think at first that people were going to come for the trainings, come for the tutorials, come for the templates. And like every now and then just kind of like ask us questions in the Facebook group and yada, yada, yada. But then we did have this survey, maybe like 3 or 4 months in, where we put questions like, what is your favorite thing about Podcasters Paradise? It was the videos, the templates, the monthly webinars that we do. Like, what do you like most about Podcasters Paradise? And of course, I didn't say of course, because I think this is something that people don't do, but luckily we left the other open as well. And one person, there's always one clever person, chose other, and he wrote, came for the tutorials, stayed for the community. And it was at that point,
gold, baby. Gold.
Everybody voted for that one. Like, like the first like 20 people like voted for the ones that we put. When that person like wrote that line, every person after him voted for that hands down. We're like, whoa, okay, we need to like double down and like think, how can we make this community even more of a family, more of a community feel, but B, this is going to be a lot more recurring work for us. So how do we now add a recurring component to that lifetime membership? So, and then we kind of did a shift where it was like, okay.
All right, y'all, that's all we've got for this preview episode of the Membership Masters podcast. I know we left you on a cliffhanger. I'm sorry, but I wanted you to be excited to go over and listen to the full episode of the Membership Masters podcast that you started today. You can download the Membership Masters podcast everywhere where podcasts are heard. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. I think we even upload this thing to YouTube. But the best way to get there is over on Apple Podcasts. Just go to fliplifestyle.com/membership-masters, and we will take you right to Apple Podcasts, where you can listen to the rest of this episode, hit that subscribe button, and leave us a 5-star review. That's fliplifestyle.com/membership-masters, and you can listen to the rest of this podcast today. Thanks for checking out the Membership Masters podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be right back here with you again next week with the Flip Lifestyle podcast, and we're going to keep previewing episodes of the Membership Masters podcast for the next couple of weeks. We are so excited that we get to serve you and your family now twice a week. Once on the Flip Lifestyle podcast, where we help you start, build, and grow a membership site of your own. And again on the Membership Masters podcast, where we help you get and keep more members every single month and build $1 million membership. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.